Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching.
In this video, we're going to troubleshoot and figure out why the rear hatch is not locking or unlocking, I should say, on this 98 cross-country V70. The owner already swapped out a lock assembly or plugged a different lock assembly in, and it didn't unlock either. So normally the problem is somewhere in the wiring in the hinge area. So we're going to test the wiring from the hinge area out to the latch assembly to see if there's any break in any of the wires. All of these wires are color coded. So what you need to do is follow the color of the wire up to this plug here, and you can back probe them, see if you can find any breaks in the wire. If not, you'll have to close the hatch and try it again. But sometimes there's a break in the wire from it bending over the years. So you get your ohm or voltmeter and you set it to ohms, and you probe those wires and see if any of them are broken, which will mean they won't give you any ohms.
Like this, man. What kind of food?
So I'm back probing that wire there, and as you can see, I do have a reading on my ohm meter, and it's back probing that wire there. So I'm gonna do each wire in that latch harness and see if I can find any broken. Okay, kicking off today, I replaced a window regulator in a 740 Volvo. The last one I put in there was bent. And this morning, before it gets too hot, I'm going to go ahead and wash my car and kind of refresh the brilliance of the hood buff job that was done on it while I was on my helper tour. So I'm going to wash the car, unload the back, clean it up real good, and go from there. Okay, I got the outside of the car washed and dried. You can see the road wear on this black vehicle, but this is the hood, how it looks. Still has some water spots on it. Need to wax it. And then this is how the roof looks. You can see the whitish, ashy comparison from the hood to the roof. So coming soon, I'm going to clean up this roof and show you guys how to professionally buff and kind of restore your paint on these things. It's been a month and a half since I've been gone, and I have not heard one word from the shop that has the head for the raffle vehicle. So I am on my way to that shop to see if that head is usable. If not, I'll have to find a usable head for the donor car. I did get a couple of things for the vehicle while I was on the road. One being the center hub pieces for the wheels. So I have all of those in now. And then I have a pair of lifts for the rear hatch that are in better shape than these. So a little bit later today, I'm going to order the rest of the parts to reassemble the vehicle, which includes new heater hoses and those type of things. And then I'm going to get my hands on the head, get this car together hopefully by next week, and get it delivered. I have about half of the stuff out of the back of my wagon to get it cleaned up. I have found a few parts that I'm supposed to ship to some people. If I'm supposed to ship you some parts, please send me a message and let me know what it is that I'm supposed to ship to you. Now, I did find a light assembly pigtail. Somebody had a bad light harness behind one of their headlight lenses, behind their reflector. This one is good. So if you are in need of that wire harness, please let me know and I'll get that shipped out to you. Pulling into the machine shop to check on the head. Well, hard to believe. The guy still said he has not checked this head, and he's going to check it, he told me, within an hour to let me know if it's any good. If it is good, he's going to get it resurfaced so I can get it back this afternoon. So we'll see what happens. Gosh, if that head is not good, I'm going to have to find one. There is not a decent one that I know of here in Albuquerque right now. I checked Salvage Yard and a few other places, but I'll have to find one soon. I washed my car, and it rains for the first time in 32 days. It rains for 10 minutes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I have parts that I'm boxing up to ship to 4 different people. If I'm supposed to ship you some parts, please send me a message to remind me so I can get them shipped out ASAP. I believe this was my best junkyard find. A nice shiny headlight reflector. I'm sending this to a guy that I met on the tour. Hopefully he'll get it installed without touching none of that reflective material in there. For a second I thought somebody's vehicle was burning, but somebody dropped some, I guess it was sheetrock, and people running over it caused a dust cloud. Kicking off this Saturday morning with a AC compressor shim, clutch shim. It has too much of a gap, so I'm putting the small red ones in there. As you can see, that is closing that gap up. If I spin it around here, you can see more of a gap there. And when I put the zip tie in there, it brings that gap almost all the way closed. But you don't want it all the way closed, you just want it closer. So since I'm using these small ones, I'm gonna put 6 of them in. So I wedged the flat tip utility screwdriver in like that, and then I slide the zip tie through there and tie it up. There the zip tie is through there. I'm gonna pull it tight and cut the excess off. I have 6 of these mini zip ties around there. They have brought that compressor gap closed pretty close, but it still spins without engaging, so it should be good to go. And on to my next appointment. Here I'm pulling up to my buddy Marlon's house. We're gonna swap a radiator from his totaled out 850 turbo to his 98 V70. A few months back, his daughter was in a collision. Well, I should say somebody hit her and totaled the car out because an elderly gentleman was disoriented and hit about 6 cars and totaled out this 850 turbo for her. So he's going to take the radiator out of this one instead of purchasing a new one. One of my viewers passing through had a bad upper engine mount, spraying rubber all over the engine and clanking and moving around when he shifts, because he's fortunate enough to have a 5-speed with a T5 C70, and he has a horrible noise coming from the front. We think it is the idler. We pulled the serpentine belt loose, and the idler is loose and making noise, and everything else seems to be pretty tight. So we're going to change this mount, and we're looking for a idler locally, brand new. So we went on ahead and pulled his serpentine belt, and there looks like little chunks of the serpentine belt that's being removed from it, and its rubber is separating and stuff like that from it. So hopefully it's got something to do with the torque of this idler. When you reach your hand down there, the idler rocks and it makes noise, and everything else seems to be relatively tight and not making any noise. Kicking off this morning on my way to the salvage yard, a YouTube viewer passing through Albuquerque is having some belt path noise, It is in the serpentine belt because we disconnected or removed the serpentine belt and the noise went away. Yesterday we replaced the idler tensioner because it was very noisy, and we still have the noise. It's either the power steering pump, which I initially suspected, or it's the alternator, which, you know, when we put a rod to it, the alternator is noisier than the power steering pump. At any rate, we're on our way to the salvage yard to get a power steering pump and see if that fixes his problem. He's behind me in a 02 C70 T5 model.
I don't like to work with dirty stuff.
As soon as the beeping stops, how far back you gotta go, dude? Get it out of reverse already. In this video, we're going to replace a power steering pump in a C70. The owner's going to start the car real quick so you can hear how noisy it is before and then how noisy it is after. Alright, that's how it sounds before we replace it. Now we're going to go ahead and replace it. Alright, here comes the start. See if our noise disappears. And we still have a noise. It must be the alternator. In this video, we're going to be replacing an alternator on a Volvo C70 2002. That should do it. We're going to fire it up, check for noise, and hook up the scan gauge and check the volts that it's putting out. Really don't hear no whining in here now. When we first started up, we think we did, but it quieted down. It was probably because the power steering pump was low on fluid. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down and put the timing belt cover on and call it a day. 5 hours later, all done with my visitor. Let's go have lunch. I'm back at the machine shop that has the head for the donor car. I'm picking the head up whether it's ready or not. Because if it's not ready, I need to take it somewhere else to somebody that's willing to do some work on it. Came over here, seen Buster Brown. When I put his shifter back together last time, for some reason, the indicator wasn't in the shifter properly, so I had to reset that so that the indicator moves with the shifter. Just pull the console out, pop that shifter collar up, and push it back down in the right position. Currently on my way to another machine shop to get a second opinion on this head. I would have trusted the last machine shop's opinion, but they just took so long to get back to me that I don't know if they ever really checked it. So I'm going to check this other machine shop, see what they have to say before I go and find a new head. So I've had heads rebuilt here before at Bud's Longs. I'm going to find out in a few minutes if this head is any good. I'm going to drop it off and probably find out by tomorrow. After waiting around for a few minutes, I found somebody to talk to, and basically they didn't even want to check it. They said if it's been resurfaced a couple of times, it's more than likely no good. So they recommend I find another head. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.